I'm Thomas Morgan. I had mentioned earlier about the siege of Fort Watauga and the different roles that people played during that time when the Cherokees laid siege to the whole fort here, and the heroism of a young lady by the name of Robertson. She was such an amazing woman. She helped us defend this fort and all the people in it, and she actually was granted a land grant, which was basically unheard of during those times for her bravery.
Good morning. My name is Ann Robertson Cockrell. I was born in Winchester, Virginia in 1757, and at a young age my family decided to pack up and move across the Appalachian Mountains into now the Watauga settlement. Things were good in this new land. We were at peace with the natives for a while until 1776, which it was a fairly chaotic year for everyone in the country, but here on the settlement we were attacked by the native Cherokee. That day was like any other day. It started out as such. Me and some of the other ladies were washing clothes, doing laundry, and all of a sudden there was screaming and yelling on both sides of the fort walls. Women and children were running into the nearest buildings that they could find. The muskets started to be shot. Gunfire was going over our heads. The gun smoke that followed suit caused the air to be hard to see. But in that time, I don't know what got over me. I thought I needed to help, I guess. I grabbed one of the buckets for laundry. It was filled with boiling hot water, and not thinking at the time, I ran to the walls and began to pour the water over the walls onto the natives who were in the midst of trying to torch our fort down and get inside. I don't remember much. The ladies and we formed together and kind of made what we called the bucket brigade. We had our buckets of water that we would pour over anytime the natives tried to put a torch to the wood. I was afraid for a time that we wouldn't have enough water to douse all of the flames, but God was with us and He saw to it that we had enough water. I don't know how long it lasted, but it was over fairly soon, and things tried to go back to a relatively normal state. My husband and I were reunited after the battle. My 3 little girls were all fine. He was unharmed. I could not say the same for myself. I was injured. The hot buckets of water, I did not at the time feel the heat, but I was injured because of it, and pretty scary being so close to the walls with guns pointing through the fort and the musket balls going over your head and into the wood next to you. If I had gotten shot, I don't doubt that I would have felt it at the time, but I had more important means, and that was to protect those who were inside the fort from getting harmed. Unfortunately, my husband would not live very much long after that. The next year, he passed away, leaving me with our 3 little girls. And after that, things became quiet. There was not much more for us here along the Watauga River. But in 1779, my brother James Robertson came to me saying that he was getting ready to head further west, and I had nothing left at that point to lose by leaving the area, so I decided to follow suit with him. Well, we sailed along the rivers to get to French Lick, we found ways to pass the time. My boat was called the Adventure, and we were filled with children. I passed the time by educating them. During the weeks, during the days, I had our normal school where I would teach the children, and on the Sabbath I would teach them Sunday school lessons. And they seemed to enjoy it, and it kept us out of the boredom of being along the rivers and not having much to do. However, all good things must come to an end at some point, and that happened on our trip to French Lick. At the time, as we were sailing along in our multiple fleets, we were attacked and got under fire again. That was by another native tribe that had ambushed us along the riverbank. In our attempt to get away without being harmed, the men took up the oars on the boats to paddle, and I decided at the time to take up the role as a temporary captain, just so long as we could get away safely. We ended up reaching French Lick later that same year. We actually arrived at Christmas, so I guess it was a nice Christmas present for us. And it was a 400-mile journey that we were able to safely reach. And now we have called it the Cumberland Settlement. When we arrived, there was a young man named John Cockrell who had come aboard, had gotten along with my brother, and we took up. He had something in him that filled the gap that my late husband had left behind, and he took to my girls just like they were his own. And in the year of 1784, we got married. We also had something else happen that same year. I was awarded by the North Carolina legislature a grant for 640 acres of land here along the Cumberland, and it's astonishing to me, really. They say that it's for my heroism during the time of the attack on Fort Caswell, but I don't see it. I was doing my job at the time of what needed to be done to protect my friends and my family, but they did award me this land grant, and it's in my name. Astonishingly, I can't believe that something like this has been blessed, or I've been blessed to receive something like this. And my husband now works the land. My children, we have some children together now, and we are steadily raising a bigger and bigger family. And now that's where I find myself, here on the Cumberland. I do not see any plans in the future of leaving. My family is very happy here. We are successful in my land that we have acquired. My brother James seems to like this place and have big ideas for what he wants to do with the Cumberland, and I hope that I will be able to see him through his successes as he has been able to see through mine. My husband tills the land, and we've made it into a home, and we are hoping to stay here, and that our children will thrive here for many years to come, even after we're gone. But I just hope that they can see what all of their mother, their father, and their uncles have been able to accomplish, and that they will be inspired to follow in everyone's footsteps and be as successful as we seem to have been here. So thank you for spending your morning with me. I hope that I will be able to talk more about life here on the Cumberland soon.